If you still haven't seen Denis Villeneuve Dune, you're an idiot.
No! God, please, no!
And I'm finally back here on Torn Apart. I've been on holiday for quite a while, and all the videos that I've shot and I've released in the last few weeks, they were actually shot in the month of July. And it was actually quite stressful because I had to shoot 3 if not 4 videos a week, but I really hope that you enjoyed it. I'm here back today because I want to talk about Dune that I saw last night at the cinema for the premiere. I had an incredible time, and so I'm rushing this video as much as possible because it's coming out tonight if everything goes well, because I want you to go and see it. I want you to go and support this movie.
Only together can we stand a chance.
From the very first trailer, I was so into the whole look of this film. I'm a huge fan of the book itself, of Frank Herbert's Dune. In just a couple of years, Dune has become my Star Wars, just because I fell in love with the book and with the characters and with the whole philosophy of the franchise itself. So first of all, we have to say that the soundtrack is incredible. It's Hans Zimmer, so we don't expect anything less of him, but the thing is, when it comes to Hans Zimmer, he's such a talented composer that he's been working with so many different films in the last few years, and very often those films kind of have the same genres or plot lines. So his scores have started to be a bit redundant and they kind of all sound the same. And this is completely not the case with Dune, because he really takes advantage of different weird sound effects and different weird instruments to create something that is quite unique, and the whole experience is kind of otherworldly. It really transports you to a universe that you've never seen, that you've never felt before. Honestly, when I was watching and listening to Dune, I felt this weird vibration within my body, just because it was such a powerful experience. Denis Villeneuve has an incredible track record when it comes to his films. Honestly, his entire filmography is incredible. When you think about Prisoners, when you think of Incendies, his first few films, Polytechnique as well, and Blade Runner 2049, which unfortunately was a box office bomb. And that's exactly what motivated me to do this video and to do everything in one day, because I want to support his weird visions. The cast is incredibly well chosen when it comes to the characters, when it comes to Lady Jessica, when it comes to Duke Leto.
Villeneuve has a grasp on character-driven narratives, small in scope or large in scope. Thanks to Frank Herbert, here's a story that's on that scale, but with characters and relationships and stories. You know, and these were the things that made me want to act.
Paul Atreides and Timothée Chalamet as Paul Atreides is incredible. It's an incredible good choice, because I feel like Timothée Chalamet has an incredible amount of charm, but he has a weird sense of pretentiousness in him that you kind of want to slap him in the face. And that's exactly what you feel for Paul for the entire book, because he's been trained his entire life to be this god, basically, to be this religious icon within the universe of Dune. And not only that, he's an incredibly privileged character from a very strong aristocratic family. So it kind of makes a lot of sense that he would be a really difficult character to relate to and a difficult character to like as well.
An animal caught in a trap will gnaw off its own leg to escape. What will you do?
I kind of feel like when I was reading Dune that the characters themselves, you don't really have to like them as much as you have to understand them and you have to believe them. There is a weird cult of Dune and the book and the legacy and all the different fables, all the different religious writings within the book as well. They're trying to show you how inevitable destiny and fate can be. And this is also why Paul kind of looks really confused for the entirety of the film. And it's because he's the kind of character, he's the kind of person who wants to control everything, and he's born within that kind of power that allows him to control everything. But this he cannot control. He has to accept that there is a power within him that he still cannot control, he definitely cannot understand, and he has to embrace that. He has to let go of his fear, as they repeat over and over and over again within the film and within the book as well, and learn to just let go of everything and just feel the flow of life, of a sense of community, of something bigger than just these political fights in between big houses and what the emperor wants to do with them. Cinematography, I mean, it's saying that it's good, saying that it's beautiful, saying that it's the most gorgeous thing that you will ever see this year. It's the least that you could say about this film.
I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer.
When it comes to the costume design, it kind of feels like being at the Met Gala. I especially like the costume design when it comes to the House Harkonnen, and it really reminded me of all the work that went into the creation of the costumes in Luc Besson's Fifth Element. And when it comes to production design, it's a beautiful mix in between practical effects and CGI. The line between reality and fiction is getting blurrier and blurrier every single year, and it's honestly incredible to witness. I also want to give praise to the design of the different planets that we see in the film, Arrakis in particular, because I feel like we've seen our fair share of desert planets among science fiction films, because they tend to be the easiest ones to design. It's quite long, I will admit, but honestly the pacing is incredibly well handled, and the story just flows from one sequence to the other. There are a lot of tiny character moments where you get to understand who these people really are and why they're doing what they're doing. So it's not just a set of weird sci-fi cliches that sound clever, but in the end of the day they're not really clever. If there is maybe one reason why you would not enjoy Dune as much, is that it stops at the very beginning of Paul Atreides' journey, and it's done on purpose, of course, because the book itself, which I have here, the book itself is such a huge and incredibly dense adventure, but I actually like it this way, just because it really leaves you on this huge cliffhanger. Of course, as a cinephile, I would have sit there for other 2 more hours and watch the entire journey for 5 hours in total just to see this journey, because it is really worth it.
I dreamed about Dune for a very long time. Since day one, the whole project has been designed to be seen on an IMAX screen.
I think the film is definitely complex when it comes to its mythology and how the universe works, but I feel like the film really does a good job at explaining everything without sounding too expository. And that has to do with just the writing. The writing is incredibly good in this film. If you remember David Lynch's Dune, this has nothing to do with it. It's 100, if not 1,000,000% better. I feel like if you loved films like Mad Max Fury Road, so weird science fiction and post-apocalyptic films that really try to do something different and take a new stand when it comes to the genres, I feel like you'll definitely enjoy Dune. It is kind of an art house science fiction film, and that's exactly why I'm really begging you to support this kind of filmmaking, because this is what we want. This is exactly what we want. We want more original stuff. We don't want them to recycle over and over and over again properties that have been adapted for the last 50, 60 or even 80 years. We want to see new stuff, and I'm kind of glad that Warner Brothers is giving the chance to Denis Villeneuve to do it with this property. And I'm gonna be honest here, if you don't go to the cinema, if you don't support this film, then we might never see a part 2. Even if you didn't relate to Dune, even if you feel like Dune would not be for you, you have to admit that this film looks like nothing that we've ever seen. And even just because of that, it is definitely worth your attention. And it is worth everyone's attention. Yesterday the cinema was completely full. The atmosphere was incredible. It was this weird utter silence within the room. Everyone was so perfectly looking at that screen. There was a weird tension in the air that I really can't describe, and I really hope that you get to experience it at the cinema because it's really worth it. It's one of the best films of this year without any doubt. Let me know what you thought of Dune. Don't forget to like and subscribe because it always helps. I'm Patrick and this is Torn Apart.
Hey, you. Put on some muscle?
I did?
No.
Statistic, yep. Statistic, yep, yep. Statistic, yep. Statistic, yep. Miss Law M, Miss Law M, Miss Law M, Miss Law M. Statistic, yep. Statistic, yep, yep. Statistic, yep. Statistic.